Welcome back to Generative Minds, the one and only series focused on generative AI in the industrial world, launched by Peter and me. Today's episode, it's all about training. So Peter will pretend to be an employee at my company, Tech4J Automation, which, by the way, has a very cool name but doesn't exist. Peter has joined the service team. He's extremely shy. And he had already a meeting with the HR team yesterday, but he still has few questions, right, Peter? And fortunately, he can rely on a virtual assistant.
Exactly. And that is one of our use case areas, basically, which we already posted about. Yeah, the list, it was one of the most popular ones, which we want to discuss. And so new employees having lots of questions, being unsecure, I think that's something many people can relate to. And every company has that topic, right? So
exactly. So in this specific case, Peter doesn't know much about this technology, but he has been told that it's like talking to a colleague. So he will start by saying hi, and then he needs some information about the reimbursement process.
Great. Yeah. So I'm going to share now what I will do next. And fortunately, I have this tool. So what I'm going to do is that I just post my questions for you to save some time. I just pre-wrote it and copy-paste it. But it's basically that I'm a new employee and I want to learn about expense reimbursement. And there's this platform Fluida, which I don't know about, actually, in truth. So what I would like to know, obviously, how can I reach Fluida as a platform where I get more information or where I can then manage my request? And obviously, generative AI kind of brings together all of these information. And I said, well, great. It gives me that information as well. So I don't need to reach out again to colleagues. I can just ask it for the link. So that's great. But also kind of what else is possible, not only access, but also kind of questions and
testing your knowledge.
Testing my knowledge for training topics. And also, I mean, talking from a management perspective, I think it's also good to be able to test the knowledge of new employees, because sometimes it's just not the right match, right? And we need to be honest about that. And then there could be, based on something like this, which I would not be able to answer at the moment, I do admit. You could then also take some decisions. And I think there are different tools and possibilities. This is explicit knowledge, which is available in the company, links and documents. But I think also what is really interesting to think about company culture, about implicit knowledge. So this is something that I want to promote a lot. Therefore, I would already jump to our next example.
Go ahead.
This is basically my digital representation. Yeah, so this is just an idea of representing somebody digitally. I have also some clients now who said basically the CEO is this representation. And this AI is trained with some principles, like how do we do the things around here? And it basically gives an introduction. It's in German, therefore I jump over that. But kind of Wilson is great for answering all these explicit questions because it has access to external knowledge bases. But how about if you have kind of a question which is not that clear? For example, I have some relevant information, maybe from my past, maybe I encountered that, I know about a different department. How should I clarify that? And what basically then... What?
That's tricky.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
It is, because there are kind of two ways how to manage that. Yeah, in some companies, you always need to adhere to the hierarchies. Yeah, you first need to talk to your manager, to your boss, and only then you're allowed to talk to other departments. Yeah, if you overstep that boundary, otherwise, the manager is upset because, hey, how could you reach out to somebody else without informing me? In my case, I said to my twin, and everybody can do this his own way, well, direct communication is key. So you can reach out in my company to anybody directly without being necessarily that you need to inform your manager to talk to your boss's boss. And this is something which companies need to clarify. And there are many different areas where such clarifications can happen. For new employees coming back, I think this is really interesting because they have a lot of questions and don't know how it's done around here, right?
Definitely, definitely. And that's very interesting because also in my past, when I was younger university and I was still a little intern, I experienced exactly that. So I wanted to talk to a person of another department. And since I'm a very direct person, I went directly to this colleague and I've been scolded badly.
Yeah,
So back
exactly.
in time, this would have been very useful.
Yeah, and the good thing about these AIs, they're always available, and you can ask really stupid questions. And we have also an overview of some use cases for AI employee onboarding. What do you say? Should I just run through, or do you
Yeah,
have
let's
some
let's
inputs to
run
that?
through, but we can also refer to the two virtual assistants that we've seen just now. So, for example, if we talk about personalized experiences, we've seen in the very first example that the virtual assistant was referring directly to Peter. So the HR team could, for example, also upload some information like how many days of holidays a person has left, that of course the others cannot access. So you have a very personalized experience on yourself.
Exactly. And also this onboarding. I mean, in my
Mhm.
past, also we created such an onboarding package, and I did it, yeah, because I don't know, it was just not available for that type of team and setup. And then the hope was that this onboarding package will be then personalized from one also new employee to the other, because we had a very dynamic environment. But it didn't really work. Now with generative AI, you can put a lot into that tool, all the information relevant, and you can then analyze the questions that new employees have and the outputs and verify if this is okay or not. Yeah, so for me, that would have been really be helpful to give the best onboarding experience to my new employees. So I think this is really a good example. The chatbots we already discussed. Basically, that's what we demonstrated. What is really cool, always available. You can ask dumb questions. And that's, I think, for every new employee, I've been several times in different roles. I think that would have been great. Automated paperwork is more kind of from an HR perspective. So they are HR tools available. I think they will be all sooner or later have these capabilities included. So just I would say in this way, in this term, stay tuned for the upcoming changes. Um, Data-driven check-ins I like, because that's kind of when you have lots of new employees, it's always difficult to say, well, where is he standing currently? Yeah, so there should be some milestones where you reach out as a manager again to your employees, and also they should be at some point in time maybe say, hey, I'm all good, or I have all the tools I need, or I have some feedback which is not so good. And this could be done automatically with such an AI. And this also being prompted. So just helping the new employee and the manager to be led through this process. I think that's
Also, for
good.
example, how many certifications they've run so far. So maybe there is a list. I had also in the previous company I was working for, a list of certifications I had to go through. If the system is able to check step by step, then you receive a reminder in case you're a bit late.
Yeah, exactly. And this can all be facilitated, I think, even in such big corporations where I was part of. Lots of processes, but just to have an overview of what comes next and else, and to adopt it to the respective case, it's can be really a challenge. And also feedback. I mean, it's great, of course, to talk to the people, and that's, I think, an important point. Yeah, some people always think black and white. They say, well, but an AI should not do the onboarding. It's kind of people relations that should be important. Of course, yeah. So it will not abolish kind of the interaction between people. It will just facilitate things, and that I think is important to understand. It's not black or white, AI or people, but it's just the combination which is attractive, and this feedback that you can always provide employees the possibility to give feedback. Sometimes it would be too much to analyze, but an AI could then very easily analyze the joint feedback and get the themes out of that, uh, create personalized learning paths. That's, I think, is really good. And translations for international knowledge bases is interesting. And the quizzes we already, Margherita,
We've
you
done
already
it as
prepared
well.
them. Exactly.
Exactly. So I would say that's all for today. See you in the next episode and bye bye.
Bye bye.